Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Scottish Silverback Podcast. This is Ep.3. From last week's episode, we got some good feedback as well. I think because we're a bit more honest with our experiences with certain aspects of bodybuilding, I think a lot more people reached out, I think, and asked about particular things. So that was really reassuring to hear and read. So, but like I said, from the first episode, this is all unscripted, apart from questions we have from Instagram. So it's just two lads chatting. So we'll just kick it off. So how's your training been this week?
It's been a bit of a funny week, to be honest. I just haven't felt like the massive urge to the gym. My boys just felt a little bit tired in a sense, and then sometimes you walk in the gym like, I'm going to fuck this setup, and I'm going to push the reps. Like usually I would walk inside, but this week I've just not felt that massive urge. My body's just felt stiff. Things are tight. My shoulder's a bit sore. It's just not been 100% there.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of waiting to see if it dies out this week, and if not, I'll kind of take it from there. But things are getting better. Just like it's kind of pushed down my appetite and stuff as well. Pushing your body weight up to maximum levels, your body's just not used to being there. So I'm just kind of expecting these feelings to come in.
If it's like new territory for you, then your body's gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But that comes with, like I said, that just comes with what you're doing over time. So we said you're 126 kilo the other day.
I was over 126. I was just about 126.5, just pushing over it. So I mean, like when I started the push, I was like 119. So it's like it's way up in the weight. I mean, just mobility. You get my socks on, my shoes on. It's not happening. My wife has to help me. Like even turning to wipe your ass is a bit of a challenge at the moment. So everyone's a bit of a slog and a struggle.
You need to get a wee B-day, mate. That's what you need.
I know.
See in Dubai, they've got like every toilet's got that fucking hose thing. And mate, it's a fucking lifesaver, man.
But she was sitting there for like half an hour, like, what's he doing in the toilet?
Had romantic music playing in the background and everything.
We're going for hours. I didn't get that and like a Stannis fucking stair lift. That'd be brilliant.
No, mate, like you said, it's you're just pushing that new level, and that's kind of what happens, isn't it? So
I seen it was Josh Law posted the other day on his story. It was like the things bodybuilding. It was like everything was like bang on me right now. It was just like everybody suffers the same, but it's like people seem to think like, oh, check the size of that guy, it must be great. It's not. Awful.
Shite. Absolute shite.
I'd rather be in the fucking depths of hell, the last stages of prep, than right now. It's just like horrible for them every day.
It's that stuff feeling is just it's so bad. I'd rather be starving on the ground than be full all the time. Definitely.
Slogging through a meal, just like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, just getting that in, like mouthful after mouthful, chewing it, just But I mean, this is where I see the people that get to that level and the people that don't. I mean, if you can't do this, which is like the hardest bit, then you're not going to be there. This is where like it separates the men from the boys, really.
100%. I mean, I'm not pushing 126 and a half, but I went over 270 since coming off everything for the first time. My last check-in, and just walking around like Tesco today, like that was fucking hard, mate. Like see when you see like a parent put their wee kid into like the wee seat at the front of the trolley, I was like, I just want that, man. I just want to sit in that and just fucking get wheeled around like royalty. A wee dynamite. But I need an adult version.
Amount of times that I've walked into Asda or Tesco's and you see those little green fucking mobility things at the front door, I'm like, who would know? Who would know if they thought I couldn't walk?
No one's gonna fucking pull you up for it, are they?
It probably wouldn't move, but at least give it a try.
Fucking right. You gotta give it a bash. Extra wide.
Not just fucking stick in the boot of my car and be gone. Yeah, that'd be great. But no, like everyone's a struggle. But I mean, like obviously you've been way heavier. That must have been hell.
Oh man, I just felt ill. Even like the only relief I got from it was training. That was the only time of day I got any relief from it, and like it's embarrassing. You're training clients and you have to sit down, get your breath when they've just done the fucking exercise. So, mate, obviously if it's needed, I'll push up to that again. But that was a fucking eye opener. That so definitely. But like right now, like it's weird because like Patrick lowered my food 3 weeks ago, and I'm more full than I was on the previous plan. I'm not sure, like, that he's got more. He's got things like you put eggs back in, you put salmon back in. I'm not sure if like that for me is just those kind of foods that just sit a bit too long in my gut. I think maybe that's what it is. So
the fat sources really sit longer and like pushing your carbs more into the muscle, just keeping it there longer.
Aye, because I was on a good 150 grams of carbs more than I am now, and I was flying through that, and that was when I was off everything as well. So appetite was absolutely fine, but it's I can get the job done just now, but I'm never hungry ever, and it's been a pain in the arse. But I've got to fit in a shake pre-workout with 50 grams of carbs and whey, and like today doing legs, it just sat in my gut, and it's just like a fucking wash machine, like round and round and round. So it's getting uncomfortable now, but it's, you know, we've only got 4 weeks left of off season, so it's kind of just have to make the most of it and just kind of crack on with that. So, but the training side of things are still flying. So I've completely switched after like speaking to you. I've completely switched out my back training, a lot of like chest supported stuff, and moving away from the explosive barbell row, moving away from the explosive dumbbell row. Like my first lift is sorry.
How come you've done that?
Just from talking to you, mate. Like I just needed to switch out my movements. I rinsed barbell row, I rinsed dumbbell rows. I had to specially buy dumbbells for my gym to fucking do dumbbell rows. So I've rinsed both of them, and I've just moved to chest supported row, and then a deadlift, plate loaded row, which I used to hate, but I found a way of manipulating my body so that it's nice. So I'm at a slight angle. I've like staggered stance. It actually works really well. And then,
I mean, like the main row, the machine row movement I have in my plan is the Cybex dual handle that set about shoulder width apart. And what I do is like lean in to the machine, so I'm not sitting with my chest completely flat. Like say this is my bum here, and that's like my face. So I'll be like that. So he can't move. Like lowers the low of the handle, so I'm throwing like my hands to my pocket. And like once you get like the weight high, we've got obviously the stack extender as well. But see, if you just concentrate on keeping like your body completely still, pure power in that movement, like the connection's amazing. And like holding it, I hold like a 2 second pause at the back as well. It just it's just brutal. Try to do that with like pure control. I find that so much better than any barbell row. Just like pure feel, obviously. But I mean, if you can put weight on that machine, then going through the movement is just great. For me, anyway, that's how I feel personally.
I definitely I think the days are not gone, because I'll still go back to barbell run and dumbbell run, but that day of like training that explosively and being, because for me, like I was all about load when it came to back, and now I'm kind of seeing like my back is more tapered. It's more dense at the lower lats, and that's purely from just switching my movements about and working angles that I've never worked in the 12 years I've been doing this. So, and then after the plate loaded row, I'll go do a single arm barbell or a landmine row. And then after that, I'll do a close grip pull down, which cable pull downs are something I've always kind of avoided. I don't know, I just don't enjoy them. But the fact it's at an end of the session and I implement kind of like a stretch into each rep as well, it kind of works well that way. So, but no, training's going fucking pretty good just now. But it's just like I'm not at that stage where like fuck I need a deload. I'm just like constantly drained because it's 3 on 1 off, and that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work over this 8-day period. So
you put up much effort, like what we do in our sessions, definitely. Like that's what I've really noticed now. Like, once I cut back, how much effort I can apply into a session, because you know you've not got to slog it out for much longer for like days and days. You just put like maximum effort into 2 days, you're fucking done. And you need that day off, then you can go back in a bit fresher, and like you've had a rest, and go back and do the same again. So I think that's like a massive thing if you're trying to program your sessions very well. Like 2 days of absolute brutal work, and then you get the day off. That's what I've really really found out this year.
Yeah, I think it's like we've spoken about it before, but like, oh man, I look forward to my. So I think now I'm at a point where I look forward to my rest days more than my training days.
I do, really do. Which is strange. Which is like a year ago I wouldn't. It's just something you know, because I need it.
And like I love my training sessions when I'm in it, but I'm just like, fuck, I'm just drained going as soon as I load, like if just saying I'm doing like a hack squat or something, as soon as I take that weight off, I'm good to go. The session's ready and I'm fine from that point. It's just the warm up, the fucking driving to the gym, all that aspect is just like I just feel like, ugh. But it's going in terms of the sessions themselves, everything's kind of flying. So that's all you can ask for, really, isn't it?
Yeah, there's sets in obviously my week that give me anxiety, like real anxiety. Like my leg press sets are, oh man, that third set where you have to put more like tension with the bands and more weight on the machine, like, and it's like a triple drop. I'm not joking. Like I'll sit there for a good 5-10 minutes just gathering my thoughts because I don't want to do it.
Aye.
And it's just the thought of like, I was like, come on, I could do this, just fucking blast out and I'm done. See, as soon as I'm finished that leg press set, I don't care about the rest of the session. I've still got the squat, leg extensions, like that hard shit's done. Like the relief of doing that is amazing. But the anxiety of doing that set is just so much right now. So that's kind of things that like once I'm done that, like, thank God I've got a rest day tomorrow. That was brutal.
I know.
So it's like things like that. If you've got that much fear about some of your sets, like you're doing something right.
100%. 100%. So we've got a good influx of questions this week. So I have one that was actually from the first episode that I didn't ask. I'll try to remember off the top of my head. It was like, if you retired tomorrow, what part of bodybuilding would you miss the least?
I think just the food.
Yeah, the off-season food.
I was actually thinking this like the other day, just like it'll be so weird. Like I can't imagine the feeling of like going about your day and not thinking about a meal.
I know.
Like, imagine just being like a normal person. Like they could let me go for a day and like probably just not even worry about like we don't think I'm going to lose muscle, we lose my fullness. And like this, there's just constant things if we think we're missing a meal, even though like, missing one meal is not going to do it. But it's like the fact that that's in our head. I think that relief, like that stress, is a main thing.
Like
just that would probably be the main thing. I think I would be so thankful to be gone. Just that thought process of like not having to eat all the time.
It's like the day after a show when you usually take the day off, and you're like, I don't know what I fucking do with my day. You know what I mean? Like you wake up, you're like, I don't understand how people can wake up and not know what they're going to eat for breakfast. I don't get that. That's alien to me. That's as weird as what they probably think how weird they think we are. And that would be a good relief, but a strange one at the same time. Like I'm just like, how do I structure my day then? Because I structure all my work around my meals, I structure all my training around my meals, I structure everything around my meals. So it would be good not to worry about that, but at the same time, like it would be a strange one. Like definitely.
Yeah. Like what you just said there about the day after the show, like I remember like the day after the show, and it is just pure relief. Like thinking, I don't want to eat today. I don't fucking need to. It's amazing. Like you know what? I might even get 12 donuts for my fucking breakfast. I don't care. It's that like thought. It's absolute relief. Like the happiness in you is just amazing. Like I remember, I can actually remember that feeling so well. And obviously, I'm not going to feel like that every day if you don't do this. But like I think just that thought process of not having to wake up every day and like, oh God, I've got these 7 meals to get in is just a huge relief.
Yeah, I think you've taken my answer out from my mouth. I think like, and that's definitely what I would love, just that freedom. That like, but I think as though like knowing me, even if I didn't have that like massive goal at the end, I think I would still eventually slowly fall back into some sort of meal routine. But yeah, totally. Like it is that feeling of that monotony being gone. That is, it's such a good feeling. 100%. That's what I'd have at the top of my list as well.
No way. Like I think once I'm done, there's no way I'm gonna go and eat like fucking bacon rolls for my breakfast and like crisps and sandwiches for lunch. I'm not a person. I think I would still have to be in this life some shape or form. There's no way I'd lose. I mean, I'll still train, I'll still eat healthy, I'll still look after myself and stuff. It's not like I'm going to go a complete reverse 180. I mean, that's just not who I am or how my mind works. I couldn't do that. I couldn't work so long for this to just go fucking throw it out the window and just like go reverse. I couldn't do that.
I think it'd be a case for me like, right, I'm hungry. Right now, I'll have my steak and rice or my chicken rice or whatever. I think that's how it'll be. It won't be. I'll just go off how I feel rather than meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, meal 4. So, that was a good one.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the weirdest message you received on social media? You get the usual gay for pay ones, don't you? So.
Oh yeah. Fuck. Can you please flex your forearm for me?
Aye. Oh, that's aye. You just hold on. There's an account. I think it's a Scottish account.
Oh mate, give me fucking. I guarantee it's the same guy that mailed me. Is it got a picture of a donut?
No.
Oh, I'll say that one.
What the fuck is following you? It's called Alpha something. Alpha.
Oh yeah. He mails everybody.
Aye, and he's like off. Cam shooting Glasgow 4 o'clock. DM me. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's got like. Here we go. Is this it? Alpha male comp. I bet he's fucking watching this one. Aye, he. Yeah, these are weird.
He needs
fair play if that's your scene, then fucking fair play, man. But
it's name mine. Just leave me alone.
He DMs me all the time, man, and I'm just like that. No, how many DMs do I have to reject?
No any of these ones obviously comes up in the message, but we have to accept. I'm just like block.
Aye. I've not blocked him because I just like fucking seen what he's offering. You know what I mean? You never know. The right offer might come up one day.
It was like a guy last night. There was that stupid one. I can't remember what the hell it was because I just blocked it. But it was like every time I put up like a photo of myself or like the posing photo, something like that, like heart eyes, and like obviously it's a guy.
Aye.
And he's like, "Can you please send me a video of you flexing?" I'm like, "Mate, no." Aye. The ones I got are like, do you sell underwear?
I'd be like, the thing is though, like just fucking test them. Just say that's my email address. There's my PayPal. When I see 300 quid in my bank account, I'll send all my fucking boxes through to you, mate. 100%.
I actually said one day to a boy, I was like, I'll give you my posing trunks for 5k. He was like, oh, that much? I was like, oh, you may actually pay something here. I was like, okay, I'll give you a deal. I'll sell it for 4. And he was just like, oh no, mate, I don't have that much. I was like, oh well, never just left.
Oh well.
Nothing.
So I haven't got like a specific weird message per se, but there's a few accounts that send regular DMs like asking you to if you're up for certain things. Aye, stuff like that. It's weird, man. Yeah. Like I said, you never know what the right offer might come up one time. Right, this is the one I was saying was a really good one. What did you consider when you made the move from natural to enhanced? Or what was your thought process?
Well, you were there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to think I looked quite good natural, but I mean, you're at the point, you know what's in the sport, you know what's involved in the sport at that point. So you know if you want to get something, you're going to have to take something. I wasn't wanting to look how I looked. I wanted to look good. The guys on stage look good. I'm not going to beat these guys without taking those things. I fully accept the risk. I knew what was coming. That was it. So it was just something I wanted to do. I wanted to look how I looked. I mean, I'm sure every guy our age has probably watched Arnold Schwarzenegger films when they were little, looked at an idol, like, I wanted to fucking look like that. And every guy did. So it was just something like when you get to that age and you're in doing what we do, it's just what you got to do. You want to look like that. You got to take the things to get there.
Yeah, I think maybe a bit of a controversial statement, but like I used to look at natural shows, and I'm like, I do not want to diet for 6 months and look like that.
No.
You know, all credit to them. All credit to them, man. Like, you know, you've got some naturals that look incredible, and but it was never a look that I wanted.
No.
Looking back though, like maybe I'd have taken maybe a bit more time and thought, right, at least I'll do one season naturally, and then maybe progress to that. But that's hindsight, and it doesn't. When even just saying it, it doesn't really quite sound right coming out of my mouth. But yeah, it was. Don't like I said, there's some.
yeah, those guys get fucking peeled, like they really do, and they've got to diet so hard and precisely to maintain as much muscle mass as possible. It's there's some really good guys there, and like honestly, credit to them, because I just couldn't work that hard in the gym all year round, nailing the meals, doing all this, doing all that, and gaining maybe a pound.
I know.
That was just like, once somebody said that, like when I asked somebody, like I was like, how much would you think you could gain naturally in a year, like doing everything right, this, that, next thing, and they're like, maybe a good pound of muscle, and I was like, no, fuck that. Like, you know, you can have kilos of muscle by taking gear and taking it properly, and there's safe ways of doing it. Get a right coach, everything, all that, and it's like, it's not really a question in my books.
But then to counter that, as well, not counter, but like to my point would be like, how many guys who take gear do we know who look horrendous? You know, it's, I mean, yeah, natural's not a look that I wanted to go down, but at the same time, I knew that to be number one in untested bodybuilding, like you have to be as precise as a natty. You have to be as shredded as a natty. You just, obviously, you have your recovery capabilities are far greater. And but yeah, like, just to move on from that point, like, there's, like, you see the mainstream, like, you see people who think like it's just that fucking easy, but I know more. I know in Scotland, we'd had this like discussion the other day, like, we struggle to come up with like 10 fucking pro level physiques. It's very easy to do that in England, but how many just drug abusers basically do we know? You know what I mean? It's horrendous, like that drug look, where you clearly have not had a natural base. Everything's mismatching, your skin's horrendous. I can't really speak right now, but I could. And all these wee factors, like, it's just, you know, maybe a lot of people would benefit competing naturally first for a couple of years and really honing their skill of training and dieting before they move down the route where you're not going to die from it, but you are going to change your health markers, and it is an unhealthier way of bodybuilding, because natural bodybuilding is not healthy either. You're not supposed to look like that. You're not supposed to be showy shredded. Like, I know a lot of natties who have struggled to come back hormonally post show because they've just driven themselves into the fucking ground. Like, it is a healthier option, but it's by no means clear cut.
You have the same fuck ups there as you could with us. The only thing you're eliminating is the drug process, obviously, but done right, you could reverse your hormonal state. Great. So there's risks in everything.
Yeah, definitely. So,
but I think, like what you're saying there, obviously, like, guys up here, it's the same thing now. There's not enough people at the higher level who have the potential to be great. Obviously, there's not guys that are like kicking the door down and being pros. I mean, me and you're obviously very close, but I mean, before that, I don't know anybody over the last 10 years who's been very close in Scotland to doing that.
I think Nick Vandal could also.
Yeah, Nick, sorry, Nick. Yeah, he was very close, obviously, but I mean, like, he keeps himself to himself. Probably without asking him, he wouldn't obviously lend out too much advice. But I mean, like, when you look at the guys we're probably speaking of, they probably knew the guy Dave back in the day who'd done a Nabla show once, and he's like, do this. Whereas, like, you look at England, fucking, we've got handfuls of guys we could probably name who have got so much experience, and they've been doing this for like 30, 40 years, who've probably gave advice to these guys who are actually kicking the door down now, who have their pro. So, like, they've just always had that better advantage over us. And I really hope this is something that we can change. We can actually get more people to say, like, guys in Scotland can actually become pros. You just take the great advice from people that are actually well known in the sport and actually make something of it.
I think, like, look at Wales as well. Wales has got a smaller population than us, and they've produced fucking Flex Lewis and James Llewellyn and all that. So there's a lot of like Welsh guys as well, and so it's not a population thing. It is to an extent, but it's one of the factors. But I think other factors is just like the culture around fitness. We discussed, I think, in the first episode, but that culture of fitness in Scotland is behind the rest of the UK and definitely behind Europe. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously I was able to go to Dubai for 5 weeks and see the culture out there. Like, obviously you've been there as well, and like, I remember you telling me, like, just a different fucking game towards all types of fitness, not just bodybuilding. But I think that's where Scotland is still in a bit of a limbo period where we're getting there. We're getting to the point where guys want to look good and guys want to look big, and then guys kind of trickle through that into the competing realm, into the bodybuilding culture and that. But it's still, there's still that kind of taboo-ish kind of.
It goes back to what we said in the first episode as well, though. There's not the facilities to throw you, kind of push you there. I mean, fuck me, there's not going to be bodybuilders coming out of Pure. Like,
yeah.
you need the Ultraflexes, you need like the Muscle Works, you need the King's gyms, owned, run by bodybuilders. IFBB pros are there. Once people see that, they're like, fuck, I want to look like that. I want to work like that and do that.
Yeah.
You don't see that in Pure here, DWs, whatever. You don't see that. So nobody's going to aspire to be that. That's what we're missing. We're missing facilities and gyms to really encourage people or let people see these people that I can actually do that, or give them the facility to boost them towards that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I completely agree with you. So I think I don't remember the original question. I think we spiraled for that one.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a natural one. That was it.
Aye. That they do not.
Yeah, I went totally off. But I think of that old saying as well. Like, what do you go to the circus for?
Aye.
To see the freaks. I mean, you want to see the fuckers on stage. You do. I mean,
you wouldn't get a ticket to go see a normal person. Yeah.
I've been to natural shows. It's as impressive as lean are. It's not like amazing to look at. There's nothing like these huge guys walking about stage, which you want to see.
Aye, it's like I've been to quite a few natural shows as well, and like I'm thinking of like Gordy Adams, David Kay. Those guys aside, exactly. Those guys aside, you don't spend much of the day going, fuck, look at him, look at her, look at him. Like, so again, we're not taking anything away from people doing that actually, because it's just not our cup of the old tea.
I mean, it's a total personal choice about what you want to do in your career of bodybuilding. If you want to do that, so you don't want to touch that stuff, go ahead and do it. You're still achieving something that's amazing. You're working hard at something that's hopefully get you far. But I mean, this is just the chosen path we've taken to go walk on stage with the freaks, try and get as big as them. It's just what I want to do. It's what you want to do. It's just the path we've.
Exactly. Is it necessary to train abs for a beginner starting to get into bodybuilding?
Depends on your ab development.
I'm going to say no. No, unless you like training them. That's what I'm going to say. If you're doing a lot of
for having a strong core,
to
support yourself through movements. So I would say yes, in a way. I would say yes.
Right. My point would be like you said, like you're getting the core movements are providing that internal stability, and that's kind of what you need obviously to progress and move more weight and ultimately build your physique as a whole, because the whole body needs to develop in order to handle upper or lower loads. So, but in terms of like training abs to make them look better from the get-go, I'm still going to say no unless you like training them. That's what I'm going to say, because you're not building muscles doing. Sorry, you're not building muscle doing decline sit-ups. You're maybe developing the control and the mind-muscle connection, which ultimately makes them look better because you're able to hold your stomach in, you're able to tense them harder, and things like that. So,
yeah, I would honestly just like that's my only reason to say I would train them if you're a beginner. Like, if you want to build up like your deadlift, your squats, stuff like that, you do use your core. And if your core is not strong, then I don't think that movement can progress as well as it could.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I would say it. I mean, I personally have, in the last like 3 years, I think I would be lucky if I have done 3 sets of abs a week. Usually in the off season, I won't fucking touch them. I'll still walk on stage with popped abs. Like, I've just got genetically round popped abs. Like, I've not got shallow abs. So for me at this stage, I don't feel like I do. I mean, my deadlifts and squats are strong. My core is really strong in that sense. Like, I don't need to train them. It would just be, like you said, you could train them for better control.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I've got flat, shallow abs, so I feel I do need to train them. Yeah. But like right now, off season, it's like 3 sets, half-hour sets. And that's enough. And then pre-contest, I moved to every other day, and then eventually I'm doing abs every single day. But for me, it was training abs directly, but then using body weight, no added weight, and then applying vacuums as well. So doing vacuums the first thing in the morning, usually when I hopped on the treadmill to do cardio. So if you look at my waist from 2018 to 19, I dieted slightly differently, but my waist in 19 is definitely smaller. I wasn't performing vacuums, but I was able to bring my stomach in a lot more in the side shots and the front double and all that sort of stuff. So, but the thing is with myself, I was doing vacuums in 2013, and when I vacuum, it doesn't quite look right because I think it's something to do with the way my lats pop out in the shots that you would do a vacuum. But since adding more size over the past year, like you've seen from my progress shots, first thing in the morning, do a front double, like I do look a lot more impressive pulling a vacuum. So when it comes to when you get into that kind of level where every inch of your physique needs to be analysed and needs to be improved, that's when I've taken down that route of, right, okay, I need to prioritise training a certain way for abs, abdominals, X amount of times a week just to get that look. But if we're talking about pure beginner, unless you like training them, in my opinion, I don't see a need to have them in from the start.
Yeah. So, my answer is just going to be, I would say if you're feeling a strain doing like your deadlifts and your squats and stuff like that, because you can't support the weight and your weight's coming up quite quicker, I would say start training your abs just for a little bit better support and control, and because you can quite easily like pull a hernia in some of those stages because they're just weak enough and it's a lot more weight against them. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. When are you both officially starting your preps for the Arnold Showdown?
Well, we've both got our first shows. Your first show's a week before mine, but I'm 25 weeks out today.
Yeah, so I'm 24, so
yeah,
I'll be officially starting on the 3rd of May, Monday the 3rd of May, or the Sunday the 3rd of May.
Jordan's not actually told me exactly when, but I'd imagine it's around about 20 weeks out, or maybe just after.
Neither's Patrick. That's just me. I figured that out. So, what was it? What was I going to say? But yeah, I've heard from this will be my first diet with Patrick. So, but I see like with other guys, he says to them, right, I want you to take the full day off and we'll start the prep.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to Reagan, I'm lining up this, I'm lining up that, I'm going to go eat this, I'm going to spend a day like not caring about times and that. I guarantee you, he doesn't give me the day off. I guarantee he's like, no, why would I give you the fucking day off?
Wouldn't even plan.
I know.
I think the best days are on a whim. Like, just think like, fuck, yeah, I'm going to go do this. It's just like a last minute like idea of where you want to go, things you want to pick up. I wouldn't even plan it because usually those kind of days just don't go to plan. It's like a bit of a hard, but I would just let it just do like a last minute thing. Do the best. I'm
usually quite good at not obsessing about food that's not on my diet. I'm usually quite good at being like picking last minute and stuff. So, but yeah, I think I might get a wee surprise towards the start of prep. He's like, nah, fuck off, you're not doing.
Yeah,
you're not getting time off.
I know he's very strict with like no bad food in prep. You're not touching bad food. So I know it'll be a lot helpful. I don't actually know how Jordan approaches that idea. I know like obviously you see Jamie and stuff in their prep getting pizzas and stuff like that. But I mean, right now is the last thing on my mind. Like I fucking hate food at the moment. I don't even think about it.
I've only seen 2 clients of JP's getting cheats, and that's Rob Taylor when he was with JP and Jamie. I've not seen anyone else. So, but they're not made of human stuff, so you can't compare them compared to that. So
not really too fussed.
Aye. But yeah, again, if anyone doesn't know, we're both doing the Arnold Classic on the 2nd of October. So we're doing there. Assuming we qualify. I keep putting that at first because I don't want to sound like a dick being like, oh yeah, we'll go straight to the fucking Arnold Classic. But I'm assuming we'll both qualify. So thoughts on our days?
See if you don't qualify, do you get your money back? So there's like £200 then, or
fucking host that. Like, I don't want to bash, but like £200 to compete, man. Fucking hell, man. That's mental. Because last time we done the Arnold, UQBFF paid for it. So I didn't have to. I had no fees to pay for the show. So, oh man, that was a stinger. Like, it's only £30 to compete with the PCA. Like,
yeah.
Well,
I remember how much it was last year. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it might have been £120.
It might be because of COVID and that. So
yeah, I think that's what I thought it was, just because it was like the one show. So I thought, oh, fuck, maybe wanting a bit more, that's fine. But like when obviously that arms limited, I was like £200. I was like, holy shit! You had to pay for like extras as well.
Aye, what was the regional? 125.
Yeah.
Aye, so
yeah,
that was a fair dint.
Yeah. Well, imagine renting that venue alone is an absolute fortune. But obviously they've got a lot of the booths, like the spectators are paying a fortune. You've got exhibitions, so they'll make their money
easy. Thoughts on arm days, high volume challenge sets, 30+ reps, and what's your most essential health supplements? I could be here all day talking about health supplements. Right, arm days, we'll go with that one first. I've always liked arm days. I've got strong arms, but it's one of those days where there's a lot of chat about how your training should be like specific to you and whatnot. But people will take this as a negative, but an arm day's fun for me. I know you're not the biggest fan, but an arm day is fun for me. It's a time in my split where I'm not gonna have to bury myself under a decline bench or a V squat or a deadlift. Like, it's just that day where I can still train, enjoy myself, take my time, and just pump up my bis and tris. That's more the aspect of an arm day that I like. It's got nothing to really to do with progress in terms of making my arms look better. But I've seen guys with weak arms who, like, the way they've brought them up has been so varied. That might be an arm day. It might be doing like a couple sets a week, doing compounds, isolation, less sets, more sets, high reps. That differentiation between all these guys who have brought up their arms is a massive scale. So in terms of like bringing up lagging parts, that's where I'm on the fence with that, because there's so many different things you can do for someone with lagging arms.
For me, like, obviously, arms were my lagging point, and throughout the years, I have tried every single like method possible. I remember back in Bodyworks days, I was trying to do heavy as fuck curls. Like, I'll do 6 to 8 reps, like trying to like concentration, like of my fucking heavy squats in those sets. And all I ended up doing was just wrecking my tendons and my shoulders, because it was pulling my weight so much down trying to do curls. Same with my triceps, ruined my shoulders. And I was just like, how is this not fucking working? I'm lifting heavy weights. It's just not working. And like, I must have just beaten them to an absolute pulp that just weren't actually connecting. And there was no connection through it. So obviously I done that for like a year, wondered why it wasn't working. And also I gave it its time to work. Then I changed over to very moderate work. Again, I think I fucked them so much doing heavy stuff, I just wasn't connecting through the muscle. And then you recommended doing lighter weight, really concentration on the form, a bit more higher reps. That did help a bit, but I still don't think I was there. I think I was maybe doing them too much. I think I was like maybe doing too many times a week. And obviously when I said to you, Jordan gave me like, it's not one set, but it's like one exercise of biceps this year. And I was like, fuck. I was doing like maybe biceps like 3 times a week, like triceps 3 times a week as well. Now I'm doing biceps once a week, and it's like the same exercise almost for like 7 sets. This is never going to work. Fuck no. And my arms have grown. It's just like, I'm like blown away by like method. Like, it just shows you, like, when you think you know what you should be doing, it's just sometimes it's not. The same way triceps, I've had to change like all the movements I wasn't doing, and I'll do it once a week, and again my triceps have grown. So everyone's doing that aspect, and I've just done them way less. So sometimes that's the great proof of more is not always better. I'm doing like literally maybe 1/3 or maybe 1/4 of what I was doing before. My arms have grown. So it really goes to show.
bodybuilding's one of those sports that's just so counterintuitive. Like sometimes it's just the complete opposite thing that actually works when you think, like with every other sport, like more, it's all about more. But when it comes to bodybuilding, like, yeah, that's true up to an extent. But then, like with you and your arm training, and me with my shoulder training, it's less. Because I was doing, in the season where I put the most size on, off season, the 2018 off season, like I was doing 4 or 5 sets for shoulders. Like, you know, that's fucking nothing. You know, and that was not even warm ups. That was straight in, like pec deck, rear pec deck, 1 set, gone. Dumbbell press, 1 set, gone. And I was doing that, and then training shoulders. I'm doing like a rest day before shoulders and a rest day after shoulders. But that was like a massive kind of like clicking point for me, because I was doing Jay Cutler style 30 plus sets for shoulders, and like I was getting fucking nowhere. So yeah,
it's amazing. Like just what you think is going to help, and it's just really not. It's probably doing the absolute opposite. You're burning them to like just a fried crisp, and they're just not growing. They're just like, and then you're not letting them recover enough, and you're probably trying to do them again halfway in the week. I think you're just fucking them up even more.
Yeah.
What was that question? Health supplements.
Oh yeah, health supplements. Yeah, essential ones. I have. Yeah, I have a baseline list of supplements. So, curcumin, omegas, omega-3s, fatty acids, vitamin D, and a good multivitamin. That's my 4. That's baseline. Pretty much everyone gets that, regardless of level, untested, whatever. The problem that I love the health supplement science. I think I really enjoy that part. The problem is getting someone to take that amount of supplements. You've seen my health supplement list. It's pretty fucking. It's expensive to do. A guy that we both know, like that's the first thing he said to me. He called me and he was like, "Mate, like, what the fuck? How much? How much? You know how much I've just spent?" I was like, "Well, you phoned me and told me that your health is your biggest concern, and I've just told you how to sort it."
It's amazing. People will like say, "I'm really concerned about my health, this, that, and next thing," and you show them what to go buy, and they're like, "What the fuck? It costs this."
I know.
You just like your health is, there should be no price, literally no price.
Exactly.
For your health. If you want to take care of your heart, your joints, your liver, your kidneys, you fucking go and spend that X amount of money. It's not like we're trying to spend thousands, we're trying to spend like maybe 100, 150 pounds. That is worth your fucking health, I'll tell you.
We know how last week we were talking about how like things that some clients do that kind of piss you off, and that's my number one, not number one, quite high up on the list, where they message and say, "Mate, is there any way you can just give me like a shortened list?" Like I'm like, right, okay, well I've got that in writing, but you're willing to take less than I'm recommending to you. And, you know, like you get, obviously the good thing about with blood work and that is you can then push up health supplements and that. Like that's what I kind of do. I kind of get a grasp of what needs to be done. So it's like someone's been on for a certain amount of time throughout their life. If someone has eaten a certain way for a long time in their bodybuilding career, then you're like, right, okay, you need to implement this kind of supplement. This supplement needs to go in. But when you get blood work back and you see like values that are off, and when you know yourself, like what I've kind of asked you to do, and I'm like, right, you need to double this, you need to add that, and we'll just see how things kind of move. Like, don't get me wrong, it's over-the-counter supplements aren't healers. They will over time help, but a lot more guys need to take far more pride essentially in their fucking health supplementation. It is fucking boring. You don't see them working like on the face value of things, but like maybe it's the difference between 5 and 10 extra years doing this. So that's nice.
Like I'll hold my hand up. Yeah. I'll hold my hand up and say, like, the first couple, maybe 3 years of me taking steroids, I was literally taking multivitamins a day and omegas and some other stuff. But I mean, like for internal support, stuff like that, I just wasn't. And it was nothing to do with the cost. I just wasn't that clued up on what I needed to take. And it's taken me a long time to obviously clue myself up. And now I coach people, so I actually have to know what I'm speaking about and give it to my clients when they're on certain things, this, that, and the next thing. So everybody's been there, but I mean, like the amount of stuff that's out there now to help you, the best advice I can say is take stuff at the start. Don't try and go years without taking it, because you want to be on top of things. You don't want to do the damage and try and reverse it. You want to stay on top of it, doing as little damage as possible.
Yeah. When it comes to like stuff like kidneys as well, like it's not going to be irreversible, but it's hard to bring back in a lot of cases. So I want to share my screen and like put up my diet, but I've never done this before, so I don't know. Right. Can you see me? Yeah, you're all right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let me figure this out. I'm just going to play a bit for 2 seconds. Share screen.
Can we sing a song while you're waiting?
Right. I think I know how to do this for 2 seconds. So let me just close that. Open. Sing a song. Fuck's sake. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that out because I don't want people seeing that.
This is where you should have been prepared.
I know, this is really bad. I'm just looking at it, making sure there's nothing that I don't want people, i.e. drugs. I don't want people seeing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It should be right. So we go here, your screen, and then here we go. So can you see that, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So if we're looking here, we've got, in terms of recovery, we've got magnesium there, but probably the biggest one, that's all health supplements in meal 1.
And it's not just disposal. Like the recommended dosage, it's actually milligrams. So whatever those tablets come in, like that could be 2 tablets, could be 4 tablets, could be 6 tablets. You can do.
Yeah, I've put like 1 serving here, 1 serving there. So like a multivitamin, like I know what these doses are, so I don't need to write down, because this isn't from Patrick. This is me writing this out. So got NEC there, glucose disposal stuff there, health supplements pre-bed, all this sort of stuff. So and I think no, that's everything. But you can just see how much stuff is there. So it's we're not lying when we say like we're taking a lot of fucking effort to kind of make sure our health's in check. So
yeah, it's
take it back on you.
Yeah, right. I mean, it can be expensive. But end of the day, like it's your health. You need to spend money on it. It's something you want to really kind of short on.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so look. On. What's the one thing you find most challenging when you're getting ready for a show?
Most challenging. As much as I love when I go and do it, I find it hard to get the ball rolling on my routine.
Right. Okay.
As much as I love presenting it, and once I'm at the gym doing
your posing routine.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant your meal routine. I was like, fucking hell,
no. Just like thinking like I've got to go back to the gym and go in like the room, look like a fanny doing ballet in front of everybody, and it's like everybody's like looking like they're like, what the fuck's this guy doing? And, but like once your headphones on, you're just in your own world. But I mean, like just getting the ball rolling. That once I've got like my first few things nailed, I'm like, oh, it's gonna look fucking good, and then I get going. But like just getting going is a bit tough for me.
Right. For me, it's that I get really bad insomnia. Like I get horrific. I get horrific insomnia, where I'll go to bed at 10:30, not tired at all, and I'll be back up at 2, wide awake, like I've just done like 1,000 milligrams of caffeine, and I'll do a whole day of PT. I'll do all my check-ins. I'll train. I'll do my hours of cardio, and I'll still be wide awake and and I'm like that for a good. It probably starts around the 4 or 5 week out mark, and it's fucking horrendous. Like, there's big pluses to it. I get a lot of work done.
Yeah.
And my flat is usually fucking spotless. You can eat off the floor because I'm just cleaning all the time. So I've nothing else to do. Like, TV at that time in the morning is horrendous. So like, there are things like I've got sleep stack. I've got a sleep stack that you might have seen in that previous screen that I shared before I go to bed, and that kind of helps. But I don't have a problem sleeping just now, so I'm hoping that carries over into the prep and using that. So that's like your GABA, your melatonin, ZMA, ashwagandha. That's the kind of sleep stacks that I've got kind of in there. So insomnia is the worst. That's the worst aspect of dieting for me.
I'm exactly the same, but it doesn't bother me after like I've been with it for a week, because like you said, the how productive you are in that time, and it's not like you're tired. It's not like, oh my god, I'm so tired, why can't I sleep? You're like fucking wide awake. You get so much done. Like, you can go start work, you can go think of ideas of what else you could do. You could, I don't know, I could do my cardio early, loads of shit.
Yeah.
Just like, I get that point where it's like I don't actually mind.
I know what you're trying to say. It's a very odd experience, but it does, in my experience, it does catch up with me eventually. I crash big time. Like, I think if you look at like my vlogs from YouTube 2 years ago, there's a vlog where I talked about, I was just with a client, and I was just like, I turned to him, I was like, I need to go home, mate.
Yeah.
And he was like, mate, go, you look like a bag of shit. And I remember just going home and just like sitting on the couch and just like complete crash moment. I had to take 2 weeks off PT. That was the limit. I do get to a point where I break, and I don't break like diet or training, but mentally it's just that just exhaustion point. It just creeps up on me, and I just have to kind of bail from that. So
that happened to me the last prep there, but I mean, like, I was getting up at ridiculous times and cardio, and then I was having to drive an hour, train, back, shower, go to work. This is all before like fucking 8 a.m. And I remember like I was maybe about 2 weeks out, and I remember getting to work, and I literally just couldn't move my feet. And somebody spoke to me, and I literally could not fathom words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
What they said kind of almost registered, and I was like looking at them like, and my tongue just wouldn't move. I was just so fucked. I remember feeling like my eyes were dripping off my face, and I was just like looking at them like I had something wrong with me. I just couldn't speak. And they just went, go home, like literally go home. You look a shambles. I just went home and monged out on the sofa. I just like death.
I remember being on the Stairmaster in DW in Aberdeen, and one of my mates came in, and he was speaking to me like just below me in front of the Stairmaster.
Oh, nothing worse when you're at that stage. Like, fuck off, just leave me.
I know, but like I could hear myself slurring my words, like I was pissed, like the word like, and I was like, fucking hell, I'm making like clear as day in my head. I was like, I'm making no sense, and I obviously spoke to him when the prep was over. He was like, I mate, like you're incoherent. But like at the time, I was like, I knew I was incoherent, but in my head, I was talking normally. It's so strange, man. It's just a level of exhaustion you have to experience. It's not, oh, I'm a wee bit hungry, I'm a wee bit whatever, I'm a wee bit fatigued. It's like hospitalization exhaustion.
Yeah, like you could go to the fucking loony bin the state you're in, like easy, and you'd be very welcome. You would blend in.
I've got clients in front of me as well. Like I'm looking straight through them, just like that.
And it's so bad. It's so bad. But it's just like you really need to go there. You need to go to that place, and it's not a nice place, but you just need to know it's not for long.
Yeah, you speak a lot of guys who are like, oh, that's the 6 weeks before a show, it will fly. It doesn't fly because of any good reason. It flies because you don't remember it because you're so fucked. That for me is like I can't remember a lot of the stuff that happens unless it's at the show on the show day, I can't remember like 6 weeks to 0 weeks.
But at the time, it feels like an eternity. Days just like turn to months, and it's like you're up for maybe 16, 18 hours, or 18 hours of the day. You're trying to get stuff done, you've got to do all their stuff. It's very, very tough. But then when you look back, you're like, I can't remember. The brain was dead.
It's like when I used to hate when training would rotate and I would have a Sunday off. I'd have no check-ins to do. Usually I have no plans to write because I've written them all throughout the week. No training to do. And I'd done my cardio like 2:30 in the morning. And like, I was just texting clients being like, if you wanted to check in today, that's totally fine with me. Those are the worst. Sundays are the worst. So
the brain's just going overdrive. That's why I think like that point, the product, like you're so productive. It's crazy. Your mind's like, what can I do? Like, could I create a business? I could go and do this. I might buy that. Oh, the things you buy, that's another story. But like, it's just like your mind's always thinking. I think it's great to be in that kind of segment, in that kind of aspect. But it's not good for you. But like, if you're wanting to start something or you're wanting to be productive with something, that's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Just always thinking.
Because I spend most of my off season like half asleep. Every opportunity I'll sleep, and on contest prep I'll rarely nap, especially when it gets to that insomnia phase. So like you said, like it's just everything's just on point, and that's when I get to my off season and I'm running out of time during the day because I at some point I need to get up I get up at 4 most days, Monday to Friday, but when I've got insomnia I can get up at 2:30 and I'm straight away I'm awake. I can sit down at 2:30 and do work, and but when it comes to off season and I'm like, fuck man, I've got all these check-ins to do. I need to start messaging people saying that I'm gonna be late getting back to you. Like PT kind of like moves and I'm like, fuck, it's 3 o'clock already and I've got all this work to do. So you should be taking positives from these situations anyway, but that's a big positive of having insomnia. So
do you not think it's so like, you think obviously when you're in that stage, like the crazy things you're doing is probably very unique to you, but it's not. Everybody does random shit buying. Like you're on eBay and Amazon just buying garbage and you don't know why, or like you're looking on YouTube for food eating challenges. Everybody does it. It's it's not like anybody told you to go do it. Like that's literally on your mind. You're wanting to go and do that.
I'm wearing a prep purchase right now. Look, fucking Snuggies. So yeah, you just buy fucking ridiculous stuff. It's so funny though.
It is. It's just so weird. Like your brain just works like that. Like even if you didn't tell anybody this is what you're going to do, they would still do it.
Yeah.
The brain just does that. It's strange.
Yeah. I think we're approaching an hour.
Cool. You want another question?
Yeah, I think I've actually got one more.
There was the thing we spoke about yesterday where we were going to go on a bit about the training intensity.
Oh, yeah. Go on then.
Want to do that over a question?
Yep.
Cool. So we were pretty much just having a chat yesterday about training intensity and like how each person is unique and individual to where they think a set where a set goes or where they feel is the end point. Obviously, I mean, we watch, I'm not going to name names, but I mean, we watch people and like where they think a set ends, that's like literally where we begin. Like we would literally say there is 5 more reps there. I'm not even kidding. And they'd be like, no way. And like literally there is 5 reps there.
Yeah.
And like they just can't fathom that. And it's like, this is where the difference of being okay and being really good. Like those, like say that's a set of 10. No, sorry, say that's like a set of 12. And you done like the first 7, like that was me maxed out. And I was like, the fucking 12 there. And that 5 or the 4 maybe, whatever, that's going to take you to the upper level of where you need to be, and they just can't do it. And what I was like saying to you, like, do you think it's something in you that people can do that, or do you think it's something you can actually learn to build on?
I believe that's in you. I believe you can build upon where you from your starting point, I believe you have a baseline level of intensity that allows you to then build from. But even if they could, how many people would do what Ronnie Coleman did and put 800 pound on their back? You know, it takes a mentality of you've got a complete disregard for what this is going to do to you.
Yeah.
Like as I mentioned before, I come from a rugby background, so if you go into a tackle and you're reserved and you don't put energy through it, you don't put your shoulder through it or whatever, you're gonna end up fucking on the deck. Like you can't be reserved, you can't be half-arsed going at a tackle, because then you just get fucking wiped out. So you learn from an early age playing rugby that you need to commit and you need to get the job done as fucking aggressively as possible. And I think that's just kind of always stuck in the back of my head. Like when you watch two like forward packs like collide in a scrum and they fucking driving each other forward, like that takes a different kind of mentality to smash each other's fucking necks together. I think for me that's where that came from. And I've just honed that since a very early age. It's just been there. And I think was it the episode that we didn't record that spoke about fucking what you're thinking about? Yeah. I think it was.
Yeah.
So like I've compared it to just controlled violence. That's what's going through my head. Like what's going through my head is not nice. It makes me angry. It makes me upset. It makes me anxious. It makes me hate. It just makes me like all of these fucking horrendous emotions. But that's where I have to go to squat 6 plates. That's where I have to go to do all these ridiculous lifts. And it may not seem on the surface for some of them, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking like, just imagine I'm just in a violent situation where the only option to save yourself is to be violent. And that's kind of how I approach my sets. And being violent, being aggressive is a personality trait. And not everyone's like that. And you definitely see, especially working with a broad range of clients, that's in you or it's not. So.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I mean, I can't ever remember a time, when I first started going to the gym when I was 18, 19, I don't think I ever walked in and done like a half-ass session. My first session, I literally couldn't fucking wash my hair for a week. I couldn't lift my arms. My fucking chest was in bits. I went in and just fucking pushed as much as weight as I could. I didn't have any regard in it. I wanted to see how much weight I could lift for maximum reps. And it was like, I've always trained like that. I mean, I don't think anybody's ever said I've ever done a half-ass session. I mean, I've always went in and give it 110%, but everybody has their different approach, I think, for training. I mean, like, you see powerlifters, they're fucking slapping their faces, getting fucking massive slaps in the back. It's like they're really getting worked up. Whereas some people will look at what they're going to do in complete silence for minutes and just walk in and do it. Like they've visualized it. They've literally just seen their whole set in front of their eyes and they've just went and pulled the exact same way of how they visualized it. That's what you need to be. Some people are different. Like when I'm doing my deadlift now, like I'm just looking at that thing like I'm way to fucking own you. I'm way to rip you off the floor. And I'm not thinking about like the damage it could do to end. I'm not going to think about busting my back. I'm way to rip that off the fucking floor. And I will not stop until I get whatever, like 8 reps, whatever. And it's like, that is what I need to do. There's nothing else matters now. I'm getting fucking angry. I'm way to fuck this up. It's like the same with, it's just like a thing you have in your head. Everybody approaches it different, but it's just like you said, like you really need to go to that place. There is a place like where you just go and go and go until you literally have nothing left. You could be halfway up in a squat and you're shaking like a shitting dog, but you refuse to like give up that rep. You're going to keep going and going and going. There's just something that comes over you and you need to finish that. Not many people will like almost finish a rep and they think, I've got one more. Not many people will do that one more. There's like a literally of the fail fear factor in you is great, but like you want it because you know that rep is going to make such a big difference. You just want that rep.
Yeah, you touched on a good point with the visualization. Like that's done across all sports. yeah, the visualizing. I spoke of the mindset I put myself in, but in terms of visualizing the set, I've already done it. It's already been done.
Yeah.
I'm not putting the bar on my back and then thinking, right, how am I going to get here? I've looked at the bar and gone 6, and it'll happen. I fucking get 97% of the time. I will get 6 because I'm already told myself I'm getting 6. It's not a fear of. Well, I suppose it kind of is. It's a fear of underperforming, a fear of disappointing myself or letting myself down. But that visualization aspect is just that is a huge component of bodybuilding training. Just that's what I say to some clients before they do the set. I was like, you've already done it. Like literally, if usually I try and make my clients do like a 1 or 2 rep warm up. That's their last warm up, and they've already done it. And when you tell someone, mate, you've already done it. You've done it 2 seconds ago. Like they've visualized doing it. Literally, it's actually happened. So, that's a big aspect of lifting and performing that I think a lot of people don't use as much. But again, we're talking about like if we're talking about our level, that's a must. That mentality and that visualization has to be there. But if we're talking about the kind of the average guy who just kind of wants to just improve his physique, you still have to take yourself to that place. But are you picturing yourself cutting off someone's head with a sword? Maybe not. But yeah, there has to be an aspect of that there for everyone. And I think a lot of people are letting themselves down from not having that in place. So that's that.
I mean, I think JP said it best. He's like, you need to go and attack every set like somebody has a fucking loaded gun to your head, and if you do not do what you need to do, they're fucking going to blow your head off. Like, you have to kind of go to that place like, I will die if I not do what I'm supposed to do right now. But I mean, like, when I said like, just like, I'm going to rip that bitch off, or I'm going to pull that set, like, it come to a point now where I need to be so precise with how I lift this weight, because something could badly go wrong. Like, when I'm looking at that, I'll stand there for a minute and I'm like, okay, my hands need to go there on the bar. They need to be like a good inch and a half away from those knurled bits. I need to keep my elbows in this plane of motion. I need to have my shoulders back. I need to be sitting perfectly on this seat. My feet need to be here. I'm thinking about all these things, because if I don't do that and I pick up that bar wrong, that set's fucked. If I pick up that bar wrong, maybe on a shoulder press, and it's not sitting in my hand correctly, like say one hand's a bit off, or my shoulder's not pushed back on my right side, something like that, when I go down, the drive's going to be off. I'm not going to get the thing I need. Like, this is when you get to like the level, the weight we need to think. There's so many things you need to think about just to get a good set, because that weight needs to be perfect on you, and how you need to move it. It's not just like getting angry and moving it, because that's just going to fucking not go very well. You need to be precise and where like everything is.
Yeah, mate, 100%. I think we'll leave it on that high note. I think that was a dynamite we spiel. But yeah, guys, if you're listening to this, and when we put up the ask thing on Instagram, like, be sure just to ask us anything, because we'll talk about anything as well. Granted, it's a bodybuilding podcast, but we've got a lot of kind of opinions on everything. Like, it doesn't have to be purely do you do this, do you do that. So we are made of other things, as they say.
Ask away.
So thanks, guys. Thanks for listening again. And we'll be uploading this as soon as possible. So cheers, guys.
Thank you very much.